A lot of people like this place. They love to come down here, but, you know, I just got obsessed in that way since I was playing out in the woods when I was a kid. And there's always something new, something different. Every time I come down here, every time I'll find something, a little salamander maybe, or a snake, something. And, you know, several years ago, I found a state record American elm that I completely walked around and walked past for 40 years. It's 23 feet circumference. This is not a little understory tree. It's a massive tree. It takes 5 people to reach around. Back in the late 90s, mid 90s, I was out here one day. This place doesn't lend itself to the conventional mapping, the aerial photograph, the topographic map, because it all looks the same. There's very little relief. So I said, you know, maybe I could make a map of the place. I had to do something to justify 40 years of coming down here without anything to show for it, except some photographs. So I started working on that map in probably 1998. I guess it took me about 3 years to finish up. So this place has gone through a big evolution in terms of its, quote, usefulness, how people saw it, how they perceived it. You know, for the last 50 years, it's gone into a new phase. Most of these bottomlands are privately owned throughout the Southeast, and they're heavily logged. They're logged on a recurring basis. And that's where they're extracting their wealth from. But just to have a place set aside like this, where nature takes its own course, pretty extraordinary. You know, today it's seen as a place of solace and renewal and beauty and a reservoir of life. In the 18th century, this was a working place. The settlers, the planters that lived around here were trying to make a living out of this place. They were farming, especially up on the river. They had fields. Some of them were old Indian fields. There was a huge livestock industry in this part of the state. They let the cattle and pigs just free range out here. There was always trying to figure out how to make a living. The park is small by park standard, just about 27,000 acres, but it seems much, much bigger. When you get out here off the trail and you start wandering around, especially in the summer, in the spring and fall, it's got this kind of hemmed in feeling. Probably no other place in the country that's got the number of record and near record champion trees that Congaree does. The trees here at Congaree, and they documented this many years ago, are some of the tallest hardwood forests anywhere in the temperate world. The most famous tree in the park, this big loblolly pine in front of us, is about 300 years old. That would be like you and I living to be 175. The average lifespan of a loblolly pine is about 120. A lot of these big pines you see around us here are well over 150, over 200, and this grand gal is about 300. And we call it the Richland County pine because this tree was probably about 30 years old when Richland County got first established officially in 1785. But it's definitely living on borrowed time. All it takes is one lightning strike and it's a dead tree. Hurricane Hugo came through in 1989, passed over the park, and probably the worst hurricane that's hit the coast in 200 years maybe. Knocked down a bunch of trees, but this gal just kept on ticking. A tree worth hugging for sure. Harry Hampton, they named the visitor center after, was a member of the hunt club down here for many, many years. And Harry he thought outside the box a little bit. He saw the big picture. He enjoyed coming down here to see this forest as much as he did hunting turkeys. So even in the 50s, he was an associate editor at the local paper here in town. He started writing these outdoor columns about this place and advocating that it be protected. Did that for the next 25, 30 years. He got the Park Service down here in 1959, and they did a study of the place and released a report in 63, I think it was, that strongly recommended this place be protected under the national park system. You could talk about biodiversity all you want to. You could talk about the complexity, the bottom, this and that and this, but people really connect with big trees. That was one issue that people really connected with, especially when you're talking about, some of these trees, the hardwoods may be 300 years old or older. Some of the cypress are probably maybe over 1,000, but, cutting a tree that's a near record or potential record, people knew that there was something wrong with that. It was pretty much a young group of students and people in their 20s and early 30s that put this thing, that protected it eventually. When you're at a certain age of life, anything's possible. You think you can do anything, you really can. This will be the third time I've been down here this week. I'm coming back tomorrow.